everyone. We're excited to spotlight one of our own today, Kyler. She'll be walking us through how to read an InBody scan, including key markers like muscle mass, percent body fat, and visceral fat. These are some of the core metrics we track in the Healthspan program to help you build strength, improve metabolic health, and shift body composition in a sustainable, meaningful way. We're also taking a moment to celebrate Kyler's incredible results after 3 months in the program. Through consistency, personalized exercise programming, and ongoing support, she's built real momentum, and it shows. Thank you, Kyler.
Thanks, Sophia. So hi, everybody. I'm super excited to walk you all through how to read an InBody report. This is a main metric that we're using in the Healthspan program, and I think it's one of the most valuable tools that we can use when talking prevention, wellness, and Healthspan just in general. So today we'll kind of go through really quick how to read the report itself, what are the key metrics that we're looking for, and kind of what are the expected changes that we're hoping that you're going to be able to see on your own InBody reports as you progress through the Healthspan program. Okay, so here is an initial InBody from a patient. And the first thing that I always point out when we look at the InBody report is I always want to look at whether or not this is a pretty accurate test. And that's mostly based off of like a rough judgment based off of the amount of the total body water compared to the weight. We're looking for that number to be somewhere in the range of 50 to 60% water for the average adult. So if we take this 80.9 pounds of total body water and divide that by the 149 pounds of weight, we get about 54%. So that tells me as the clinician, yes, this is a pretty accurate scan, and I can use these results to guide my advice for the patient. Some of the things that you can do when you are doing your InBody just to make sure that you're getting a good accurate scan would be maintain normal fluid intake the day before. So drink fluids just as you normally would. And then when you come in for your InBody scan, you want to use the restroom before you do your scan. It's preferable if you haven't eaten or exercised for about 3 hours. You don't want to have a ton of excess caffeine or alcohol in the 24 hours before doing your scan. And then you don't really want to have been exposed to a ton of heat before you do your scan. In general, we're thinking of those kinds of things. You want to have normal balance. So you don't want to have done anything that would be too dehydrating for you, because that's going to skew your results. Dehydration specifically, so a lot of the times if that total body water percent is much under 50%, we're looking at like 40%, somewhere lower than that. People who are chronically dehydrated, you know who you are. Though that dehydrated state can really skew your body fat reading because having less water in your body during the scan will increase the resistance of those electrical currents that the machine is reading. And then what actually happens is it overestimates your amount of body fat. So being nice and hydrated for your InBody scan is good for results. That way you don't get an accidental reading with too high of a body fat. So after we kind of look at that, the next big thing that we're going to look at is that muscle fat analysis right there in the middle of the page. So that's going to be weight in pounds, skeletal muscle mass in pounds, and then body fat mass in pounds. And the beauty of using body composition compared to just tracking weight is we can really see what is your body made out of. When we're looking at just tracking your weight, we don't really know, is this pounds of muscle, is this pounds of body fat? We know that those things are different metabolically, and the goal is to have a higher muscle mass, because muscle mass is more active metabolically. It's just better for you in terms of longevity and health. And so really using a tool like an InBody to measure body composition analysis has a ton of benefits for us. So we're looking at those things in proportion: weight, muscle mass, and body fat mass. And what we talk about is we'll talk about the muscle fat analysis type. So if we look at this scan, we kind of see that all of those bars are in line. So they're roughly about the same size bars. We call that an I-type muscle fat analysis. And an I-type muscle fat analysis can often be a healthy weight and healthy percent body fat, but if the percent body fat is a little too high, there are still some health risks associated with that I-type. The other types that will commonly see will be a C-shaped muscle fat analysis type, and so that's where the weight and the body fat bars are larger than the muscle mass bar. That C-shaped curve can be common for someone who has a larger body, but it also is common for people who are normal weight or underweight. And in Healthspan, we really see this as a great opportunity for us to build muscle. So when you have that C-shaped muscle fat analysis, we're really seeing that as a chance to build more muscle. The last of the three body types that we might see with a muscle fat analysis is a D-shaped curve. And so in a D-shaped curve, the weight and the body fat mass are about roughly the same, and it's the muscle mass that's the largest of the three bars. And that's kind of the goal that we're trying to achieve. We're really trying to get that muscle mass to be up above the weight and the body fat percentage, especially if you have specific fitness goals, but also just from a prevention and a health standpoint. Next thing we'll tend to look at when we look at the InBody report is down here where it says ECW, TBW analysis. So that's looking at extracellular water compared to your total body water. And the average for that is going to be 0.38. That's a normal number. Anything above 0.39, we're thinking is swelling. So that's water that's outside of your cells. So think swollen joints from injuries. That's kind of the most common thing we're looking at, but really anything that could be causing water displacement. It's a good way for us to kind of see, okay, actually this InBody is showing us something else that we need to address. And then the other metric that we'll check out on here is going to be that visceral fat area up in the top right-hand corner of your InBody report. So as we've talked about before in other Healthspan Masterclasses, there's two main types of body fat. We have subcutaneous body fat and then visceral body fat. Subcutaneous fat is the fat that's kind of under the skin in your arms, under the skin in your legs. Visceral fat is the fat that surrounds the organs in your trunk. So this is the type of body fat that we know is a little bit more risky in terms of health, in terms of chronic illness. The more visceral fat you have, the more risk you have for cardiometabolic disease. And so with the InBody, this gives us a really good goal of trying to, or it gives us something that can be a really good goal as far as prevention and health for all of the clients. The graph kind of looks a little complicated because it's got that weird shape in the middle, but essentially what you're looking for is the plus sign, wherever that plus sign lands, the goal is for it to be under 100. So that 100 represents 100 centimeters squared of visceral fat in your abdomen, and optimal health for anyone is going to be under that line somewhere. All right. So let's go ahead and switch to the 3-month test. So this is the most recent test. So this scan, you can see the date is from July. And you can see some of the changes that have happened just by looking at it. So remember, first thing that we're going to do is kind of check out that total body water compared to the weight. So 83.1 divided by 145 is about 57%. So we're looking good, nice hydrated client. So this InBody test is good for us to read. And we'll look down, and the first thing we'll notice is that muscle fat analysis, we can see compared to the first one, we've got a little bit better of a D shape. So we can see that body fat mass has gone down, the muscle mass has gone up. So that's good. This InBody is moving in the right direction. The nice thing about the InBody tests, especially so when you're utilizing the same InBody machine, is that it'll track the history at the bottom of the page. So you can see we've got all of the numbers from our first InBody in April on the far left. So we've got the weight at 149, and then the skeletal muscle mass at 61, percent body fat at 26. And we can see with this graph that we're trending in the direction that we're looking for. So the weight has gone down a little bit, but even better than that is that the muscle mass has gone up. So what I love the most about InBody is that I can see the metrics that matter the most to me. The weight change is great, but what really matters most to me is that that muscle mass has gone up. For me, that's a sign that my client's getting healthier, their risk for metabolic disease is going down, their metabolic rate is going to be going up. Hopefully they're going to be feeling better, feeling stronger, feeling different in their body. And so that's really what we're looking for. If you are using the InBody app, the InBody that we are using in Healthspan will transmit that data directly to your app, so you can keep all of these data points right on your phone if you want them. But they do print out like this with the history on each page. And so the big question, I guess, is how did this happen? Before we kind of get into the details of that, I do want to make a little disclaimer and just say that it is totally not uncommon to see the weight increase in the first 3 months of the Healthspan program. A lot of the times when we're doing some of these big lifestyle changes that are going to cause some body composition changes, the first thing that's going to happen is our body's going to start building muscle. And so when that happens, it can be frustrating for clients because especially if weight loss is your goal, you might not see that scale start ticking down because instead we're building muscle. So I really want to think about this program as building a body that is strong and healthy rather than just focusing on weight loss, because it's really not uncommon in that first 3 months to see the weight go up as the muscle mass goes up. And as that muscle mass goes up, hopefully what will happen is the metabolic rate of your entire body will increase proportionally to that increase in muscle mass. And eventually we will start to see that weight come down if that's one of the goals of your individual program. But I don't love for weight to be the focus of the program. I really want muscle to be the focus. And so back to how did this happen? So thanks, Sophia, for that great intro. I'm actually really proud of these InBody results. And I know that it's been a team effort for me getting here, and I was super excited to share this with my coach last week and share it with you all now. And I can tell you, speaking from just my experience, what did I do? How did I get these InBody results? How did I get this moving in the right direction? The big thing that I did is just trust the process. So body composition changes take a long time. You know, it's going to take a while. We're not going to see instant results. And so I just trusted the process, trusted the advice of my coach and my nutritionist that I'm working with, and really made that commitment every day to just try and get a little bit better every day. And then one of the bigger things that I did is I threw out my scale. So I don't weigh myself at all at home, and I only just do my quarterly InBody check, and that's pretty much all I do. And I don't obsess about that number on the scale because, like I said, I'm trying to practice what I preach, and the number on the scale isn't what's important. It's the actual muscle mass and the body composition. So I'm super proud of what I've done, and it's mostly just making that decision every day to do the work and commit this time to myself and know that I deserve it and that I'm worth it. So thank you guys, and I'm excited to help you all have great results too.